Welcome to the Shawn1113 podcast show. I am your host, Shawn1113, and we thank you kindly for joining me on this podcast, whatever platform you may be listening to, anywhere in the world. If you like it, please put a voice message on it. And with that, here we go. The NCAA basketball tournament. Um, it's nice to see North Carolina in it. Villanova in it. Kansas might pick to win the national title in it, and Duke actually in it. Boy, you in this crazy tournament, you can say very crazy, and yet the Power Five conferences, for the most part, got in the Final Four. Well, let's see what happens from there. North Carolina and Duke in one Final Four. I'm going to pick North Carolina, and then Villanova and Kansas. I'm going to pick Kansas since I put them all the way anyway, and Kansas to win it all. If it's Villanova and North Carolina in that rematch, ooh, not an easy one. That would not be easy. Pick up Duke or Kansas against Villanova. I would pick Villanova or Kansas in that one over Duke. First of all, the media's love affair for Mike Krzyzewski retired after it's his last game and all that stuff is so it's way too much. It's so contrived. Coach K is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Okay, one of the greatest college coaches of all time, and you know it speaks for itself as far as that goes. But the media's love affair with Coach K, it's his last game. It's his last hurrah and all that. It's so contrived. It's about as contrived. Actually, as Will Smith slapping Chris Rock over a joke about Will Smith's wife at the Academy Awards. That's how contrived it was. If I were Will Smith, I would have punched Chris Rock in the face to make it actually real, even if it was contrived. That's my opinion about that. It's about as contrived the media. It's about media contrived. It's about as contrived as when Deshaun Watson got all those 22 charges, criminal charges, being brought to court, criminal court, and the media didn't say a word. But as soon as the grand jury dropped all the criminal charges, the media starts acting like they know nothing, anything. They knew about it and all that other stuff, and doing their contrived garbage. That's how contrived that was too. Although I don't think much about Deshaun Watson, but him going to Cleveland Browns was actually surprising. Surprising. We'll see what happens. I'm sure the NFL will suspend Deshaun Watson at some point. I don't know when. I don't know why they didn't suspend him. He was riding the pitch in Houston. It's all contrived, in my opinion, on that one. We'll see what happens from there. Upcoming stuff: Major League Baseball, the NFL draft, NFL offseason still going around. NBA playoffs, NFL. Speaking of the NBA, seeing the Lakers going almost out of the playoffs and not even the play-in is the funniest thing I've ever. Is it even funnier than last year? You know who I fault, but it's not just LeBron this time. It's Russell Westbrook too. Trust me. And without Anthony Davis being so injury prone, yes. But this time I can't fault LeBron. He's not the only one at fault. Russell Westbrook as too. Would it be interesting if San Antonio Spurs actually pass the LA Lakers and go in the play-in? Chances are it probably won't. But if San Antonio, on the last day of the regular season, goes in the play-in game and overtakes the Lakers and goes in the play-in, Wow. And New Orleans. And by the way, on top of that, New Orleans is achieving this it's achieving this without Zion Williamson, who hasn't played a second NBA basketball all year. Well, isn't how far the Lakers have fallen, folks? That tells you a lot. Speaking of surprises, that boy that as a Dolphin fan, this surprised me the most. Actually, the Tyreek Hill trade, that was a surprise because I did not expect that to happen when I last did this podcast. And I'll tell you, as a Dolphin fan, I feel pretty good. I actually feel pretty good, but the one drawback to me is Tua. Let's see. There are no excuses this year. This upcoming season. There are no excuses for Tua now. He's got a running game. He has a good. We already have a good defense, established defense. There's a running game. There's a line ready to go. We got Teron Armstead, offensive line. I mean, we got wide receivers like Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker. Mike Gesicki is the tight end, gained the franchise tag. But to be honest, there are no excuses for Tua this year, who has shown flashes of brilliance when he is healthy. If he can't stay healthy and he doesn't do well with the lineup he has now, then he has to go, or he'll be running on the bench with Teddy Bridgewater being the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins from that point on. But in my opinion, there are no excuses for Tua this year, none, without a doubt. That is it for the Charlotte. And by the way, want to shout out to Ash Barty retiring on top, winning the Australian tennis open recently, and retiring on top. So best of luck to her in her endeavors, wherever it may be. Also, the Masters Golf Tournament coming up pretty soon. And I can't wait for that. Let's see. The one person I do want to see win the Masters, and I think he's way overdue, is Tony Finau. He's played very consistent golf on a regular basis, but it's basically wide open at the Masters 2022. But I think Tony Finau has the game to do it. I really do. He's always been capable of it. I think he'll win a major this year, if not the Masters, in my opinion. So with that, there's still a lot to talk about. English Premier League soccer. There's so much to talk about. And going to April, I'm looking forward to it again. That is your Shawn1113 podcast show. Thank you for listening, wherever you may be, wherever platform you might be listening to anywhere in the world. And please stay encouraged, no matter what. You know, man.